Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Did you know in the movie Captain Marvel, the cardboard cutout of Arnold Schwarzenegger that Carol shoots in Blockbuster? That cardboard cutout was supposed to be Jim Carrey in the movie The Mask.
Pardon me.
The whole point was supposed to be for her to mistake his green face for a Skrull. But unfortunately, the filmmakers couldn't secure the rights to the Jim Carrey's mask. Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to another episode of Movie Mistakes. And in this episode, I'm sure you already guessed it, we're showing you the 10 mistakes that we found in Captain Marvel. And as always, be sure to click the subscribe button and notification bell now. We'll keep you notified of all of our up and coming videos.
Okay.
Do it. Do it.
Alright.
So without further delay, let's check out some Captain Marvel.
Press me. Press me.
So for mistake number 1, we get a shot of Carol walking out of the hangar, and she looks like she's feeling pretty good about herself, even though she's walking out alone. However, as the camera angle switches, we can now see that her best friend is right by her side. Where she came from, your guess is as good as ours.
Who's ready to fly?
Dee, like a superhero.
Here we find ourselves in mistake number 2. And for all you youngsters out there, the thing that she's using by her ear, yeah, that's a payphone. And in this shot of Carol, nothing seems to be out of place, not even her straightened hair. So as she continues her conversation with Jude Law, the camera switches back and forth and we can now see that that strand of hair that was straight is now curly, for some reason. Kind of like curly fries. Staying in the same scene for mistake number 3, Carol is being harassed by the police, and apparently the men in black. I mean, all she did was fall through the roof of a Blockbuster, but, I mean, you could have done worse, right? So as she springs into action, we can see the cop behind her ducks for cover. But this guy is really good at ducking for cover, because as the camera angle switches back and forth, he is completely vanished. Something tells me old Nick Fury needs to be questioning this guy instead of her. So for this mistake, Nick Fury and Agent Coulson are in hot pursuit of Captain Marvel, when Nick Fury gets a phone call from Agent Coulson, the real one, stating that he has been left behind.
Where'd everybody go?
The fake Coulson, knowing that the jig is up, pulls his gun. Now we do know that these guys can shapeshift if you've seen the movie. Now the shapeshifter, knowing that the jig is up, pulls his gun. This is the part that I don't understand. Just because you change shapes doesn't mean that weapons can just appear out of nowhere, does it? So the gun appearing out of nowhere, we're gonna chalk that up as a mistake. In this part of the movie, Captain Marvel is reading a map. Now there are some issues that I have with her being able to read this map, but we'll get into that another time. While she's standing in the parking lot, we can see that a guy drives up on his motorcycle. Notice that the back wheel is near the double yellow lines. So as the guy gets off of the bike, he enters the store, and you'll notice now that the bike has switched positions somehow. Let us know in the comment section below why you think the bike moved. So for this mistake, Agent Fury is doing what most people wish they could do to their boss. Try to kick his butt.
How'd that taste? Nice.
So here we see Nick Fury throw his gun and then connect with a left cross. Notice the gun in the background. However, with some trickery with the camera, suddenly Nick Fury is on the opposite side of his boss and the gun is still in the same position, just to give you reference. Why did it switch? Your guess is as good as ours. Here we find ourselves in Maria's house. Who is Maria, you might ask? She's the best friend of Captain Marvel. Here we can see one of the Skrulls is afraid of the cat. So after he jumps from being frightened from the cat, we can see that the cat now rests at his right hand side. But as usual, when the camera angle switches, we can now see that Captain Marvel is able to bend down right in front of her and pick up the cat. How did it move so quickly? Maybe it's an alien too. So as Captain Marvel approaches one of the Skrulls with Goose the cat, we can see his left hand, I don't know, I guess they're calling it a hand. Is that what they call it? A hand? His left hand is on the stairs. However, when the camera switches angles, we can now see that he is nowhere near the position that he was in. Maybe he moved a little closer to the cat, maybe to try to be its friend. Who knows? So as they're listening to the black box, we're going to take a closer look at that Excel file icon. What's so weird about that icon, you ask? Well, that icon wasn't developed until the 2000s. This movie was based in the 90s. So for our last mistake, after Captain Marvel crashes through the blockbuster, she dusts herself off and exits through the window. But if you look very closely behind her, inside the store through the window, we can see a picture or a cardboard cutout of a pig. This cardboard cutout would be from the movie Babe. And yes, if you do your homework, you'll know that Babe was released in 1995, but it didn't arrive on DVD until a year later. So what did you think of these cool and interesting movie mistakes? Let us know if you noticed any of these in the comment section below. Also, if you notice any mistakes that we missed, be sure to post those as well. And as usual, thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you again next time.
Hold me closer, Ed. It's getting dark.